Food shelves continue to report an increased need. At PRISM, the numbers show weekly visits to their food shelf have tripled. Nonprofits are not just helping people with food, they are helping more people with housing too. We sat down with PRISM's housing locator, Bridget Glass, to learn more about what they're seeing and how they are helping.
So we have our homelessness prevention program, which is helping people with rental arrears, so money that they weren't able to pay for rent or utilities, and they're able to call PRISM and get help with that if they're in our 5-city service area. And then we're also doing housing location services, so that's my job. It's a newer job to PRISM, and that is working with people who are unhoused or experiencing homelessness, and that can look a lot of different ways. You know, staying with a family or a friend, couch surfing, a lot of people staying in their cars, and then I find housing for them. So I do an intake and a screening, getting an idea of what their background is, what their income's like, if they have, you know, evictions or criminal history to consider. And then I go out into the community and do unit showings all over. I really don't have a specific area I have to stick to. So like there was a woman who wanted to be housed in Duluth, so I connected her with some agencies in Duluth to be able to help her out with that. Right now I'm looking in Rogers and Circle Pine for a client.
So it's all over.
It's really everywhere, yeah. And then once I find a place that somebody's interested in, they give me the go-ahead to apply. So we'll do that application together, and it's really helping them navigate through that. PRISM has funding, specifically my job has funding to provide the application fee, security deposit or damage deposit, the first month of rent, administration fees, and bridging. Bridging is a organization that we use to get furniture for people when they move into their houses, and there's a appointment fee and delivery fee involved in that, and I cover that for my clients as well.
Now, I know the food shelf at PRISM is seeing great need. Are you guys also seeing increased numbers of people needing help with housing?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So we receive anywhere from 250 to 350 calls every month for our homelessness prevention service. So that's 250 to 350 people who need help catching up on rent, who fell behind because of X, Y, and Z. And more often than not, it is just one thing that set somebody behind. They got COVID and couldn't work, so they didn't have a PTO or any hours set in place for them to be sick and still get paid. I've seen a lot of people get into a car accident or whatever that looks like. Most people
the one thing.
Are really just one paycheck away from experiencing homelessness right now. So those numbers have really increased. And then with homelessness in general, that has increased a lot since the pandemic as well, and especially since the eviction moratorium was lifted in June.
Lots to talk about. Bridget Glass with PRISM Housing Locator. Thank you very much for being here and sharing this with us.
Absolutely, thank you.
Elision Playhouse in Crystal is highlighting some of the accomplishments of women throughout history in its show, Well-Behaved Women. Jason Malello has a sneak peek in our weekend showcase.
They're afraid a woman might expose their mess. Sing glory, hallelujah.
Some names we know.
I played Cleopatra, Maya Angelou, and then Harriet Tubman.
Others have been lost to history.
Our every breath and every stroke will soon make history.
But all have a story to tell.
The show really highlights times where women had to be bold and brave to speak up for what they wanted and who they were.
Theater Elision's production of Well-Behaved Women is a concert form show.
God has spoke to me, and God meant us to be free.
The actors telling the stories of the featured women through song.
The more senses we get to tickle, the more we get to get engrossed in a story. And so all these different senses add up and they kind of hit the message a little bit harder.
The title of the show is a reference to the famous phrase, well-behaved women seldom make history.
While you're so busy over there making a scene, I'll be here making
Hearing stories from the past shows us how far women have come, but also reminds us the fight is far from over.
We are not done, but progress is being made, and we can continue to feel this, and that's where I think the ultimate hope lesson is there, but also not letting anyone off the hook.
For the CCX Weekend Showcase,
Hip, hip, hooray!
I'm Jason Malillo.
The show Well Behaved Women debuts on February 9th and it runs through February 18th at the Elision Playhouse in Crystal. This week, the Palmer Lake VFW celebrated a Special Olympic athlete from Brooklyn Park who will be one of 6 athletes representing the United States at the World Games in Berlin. Tiffany Carey plays bingo every week here at the Palmer Lake VFW, and this past week, everyone celebrated Tiffany on bingo night. Tiffany will be competing in artistic gymnastics this summer on the world stage.
Achievement, like to represent my gym and my coach.
This is her dream. In 2006, she was at the USA Games. So that's what, 17 years ago? She has been doing Special Olympics for 32 years. So the World Games is her dream. And now she's got it.
Tiffany says she likes being at the VFW to remember the veterans because her grandfather was a vet who served in World War II. You can watch later this week when we go to the gym with Tiffany as she prepares for the Special Olympic Games.